It is my pleasure to now officially welcome you to the 2026 Fiction Fantastic Award Ceremony. Woo! So lovely to have you here with us today. Who's in a Wordcrafters studio for the first time? Yay! Welcome to our writing space for those of you who haven't been with us before. Once again, there's water, there's a bathroom in the back, there's chocolate for all your sugary needs, and we are so excited to get to host the event here in our space this year. There's a lot of magic that happens here. There's a lot of magic that's going to happen here tonight. It is my great pleasure to be your host this evening. My name is Joy LaFleur. I am our lead teaching artist for our Writers in the Schools program with Wordcrafters, and I wear at least 7.5 other hats that you don't need to know about, as do we all. But I'd love to introduce you to the other staff in the room. Our Executive Director, Darylyn Evans. What's your title at this point?
Captain. Associate Director.
Our Associate Director, Joe Bartlett, is here. Our other, Audrey, what's your title?
Marketing Wordsmith.
Marketing Wordsmith. Audrey is here. Everyone wears so many hats, even from the inside. I have tendencies to forget which title is biggest on the marquee this year. So, this is our tiny but mighty staff. All right. We are a nonprofit literary organization that believes in the power of story. That is our essential mission, because stories tell us who we are and who we can be. At Wordcrafters, we empower writers and readers by increasing their access to community, craft, and inspiration. We provide a home for sharing knowledge and stories with each other and with future generations to cultivate a more empathetic, creative, and courageous world. Yes, that is what our young writers have absolutely done with their stories that we get to celebrate tonight. So this contest began in 2014. It has since been an annual fiction contest for elementary, middle, and high school students in Lane County. This year, we received 89 stories by 91 authors from 30 different schools, public, private, charter, and homeschool, totaling 158,199 words. That's over 20,000 more than last year. Woohoo! In order to make this happen, we rely on the generosity of community judges as a huge part of this contest. And this year we had 24 volunteer judges blind read the story through 2 rounds of judging. So I'd really like to shout out our gratitude and thanks. Any judges in the audience, will you please raise your hand so we can recognize and thank you. Thank you, judges. And many of them are not here tonight. It's a pleasure for them, but also a huge amount of work.
And Foster's in the hallway.
Oh, Foster's in the hallway. Yeah, another judge. Thank this judge and board member, wonderful. So just to, explain the process. What then happens is the top stories in each category went to our staff, who decided on placement of the stories. This all happens in a blind judging. And we just really want to also thank all the schools, the teachers, the parents who support the young writers in this storytelling journey. I know that's everyone who's in the room tonight and many who aren't. So just a round of applause for all the support, everything it takes for this to happen. It all happens in a beautiful web. So if after tonight you're like, I'm very inspired and I would like to write more and I would like to support my young person in writing more. In addition to this contest, Fiction Fantastic, Wordcrafters offers a plethora of creative writing shenanigans to help writers of all levels and all ages to express the stories they have inside. So you got some good literature probably on your chair there about our upcoming summer camps. Yeah, so you can take that home with you. Summer camps are really exciting because you get that nice chunk of time, and I think having that opportunity to bond with a group and come back each day. Those are just like really powerful experiences and memories, and it's rare that we get that kind of. And as adults, we have to pay a lot of money to go on creative writing retreats. So I think getting that experience when you're young is really special, and those happen here in our studio. And so yeah, if you're at all interested, come write with us this summer. And we do have an ongoing opportunity, as many of you probably already know about too. We have Write Club once a month, and that continues all year long. So that's a great,
Not summer.
Oh, not in the summer. Please forget. We have writing camps in the summer. The rest of the year, we will continue with once monthly. What's that?
Just twice a month. We got one for youth and one for teens now.
Look at this amazing group. All right, we got one for teens and one for middle grades. Cool, perfect. What a great idea. Excellent. So those youth opportunities are ongoing. But I also really want to say to the grown-ups in the room, if you too have a story to tell or just a desire to write or to be in writing community, we got all kinds of good stuff for you too, including a very easy entry third space opportunity called Writing Time. Just come write with us. And once a month, we host a writer's open mic. I host that. It happens here. It is very inspiring. We have one more of those before we take a break for the summer. And then we have some really exciting craft classes of different lengths. Some are more ongoing, some are more advanced, some are very easy entry and just take a weekend. So we've got you, pro to novice. Come write with us if you have something you might need to say. Okay, we'd love to hear it. All right, cool. Before moving forward, I do want to very genuinely thank our sponsors. These are, it's easy to have this all happen really quickly, and I know they're just going to sound like names put into the ethers, but these are the folks who make this contest happen with their generous support. So that includes the James F. and Marion L. Miller Foundation, the Marie Landrum Charitable Foundation, the Mills Davis Foundation, the Oregon Arts Commission, Luminary Press for helping to create this beautiful anthology, and Euphoria Chocolate Company for the beautiful chocolate. It powers the whole experience. And so one more time, I want to say thank you to our individual donors. They're also incredibly important, particularly for free contests like this one, our board members, our judges. Board members, if you are in the room, will you please raise your hand so I can recognize you? Hey, all right. And phosphorus, phosphorus, all right. All right. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'm going to get into the awards. I get to welcome our captain. Oh, captain, my captain. Please come to the mic. This is Joe, captain of all things, our associate director, who is going to be handing out awards tonight, who has lovely things to say about all of these stories.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to say at this time?
No.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna set us up for what happens next. So, okay, now I just want to talk to the young writers who are going to be reading tonight, okay? So we're going to pretend that there is an opportunity that we don't actually have. We're going to go backstage together. Your families and everyone is still out here. But we're going to go back here, and I'm just going to talk to you about the process. So it's going to look very professional. They're not even going to know that we had this chat. So what's going to happen is we'll move from the elementary category to the middle school category to the high school category. So we'll start with honorable mention. We'll go third place, second, first. So I'll say, hey, who won in this category? And then Joe,
blah blah blah
Well,
from some school with their
Ta-da!
story, amazing story title here.
awesome. And then if that person is you, you're gonna come up here and we are going to hand you a beautiful certificate with your name on it. And you're gonna get this not embarrassing at all opportunity to stand here and let your people take a picture of you. It's gonna be awesome. And while that is happening, Joe is gonna give some feedback and commentary on your story. And then I'll take the certificate from you so you don't have to hold it in your hand. And I'm gonna adjust this mic to your specific height We'll make sure that you can be well heard. If you're not familiar with being on a microphone, the best way to think about it, I always say, is you kind of want to stand such that if it was someone that you kind of liked and you were to just lean forward, you might just accidentally kiss them, but don't do it because it's unsanitary. So we're just trying to get your mouth right about here with the microphone. I'm going to help you do it. We'll get that adjusted for you, and then you'll read your story to us. And then you get to go on your merry way with an anthology and a bar of chocolate and some more goodies. So that will be our process. We'll do it again and again. It'll be easy.
you sign the book.
And sign the book. I think this is important. We're getting everyone to sign this one special copy. So we want to make sure we get everyone's signature. So Audrey will help you here. We've got you in this whole process. So come up, certificate, photo, reading, sign, prizes. Okay? Great. Okay. Curtain open again. Awesome. All right. And then after we get to hear samples from our young readers, Joe's going to give us a little bit of an inspiring craft talk. Yes?
Not so much crop. Just it'll be inspiring.
We're just going to get
We'll hand out the tissues in case you need them for the tears that will come. Yeah.
gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay. Love it. Are we ready?
Yeah.
This is what we're here for. This is such every year is just such a sweet and exciting experience, and it's basically like listening to a bunch of trailers for stories that you then get to go home and read. Another thing we should mention is that after the reading there will be more copies for sale, and I know that you will be excited not only to read those of your young writer, but I'm sure after hearing all these amazing excerpts we will all want to run home and find out what else happens. Okay, shall we do this? You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we are. Oh wait,
I also have a memory. You can use my copy.
middle school category. Okay,
I don't know.
I don't know either. I got it. Thank you. Sorry, I was just on the wrong. Okay, so before moving into I should say, our elementary school category is divided into, so we have a K through second grade spotlight, a K2 spotlight category, and then we move into grades 3 to 5 for the rest of the elementary category. Just acknowledging that young writers grow up a lot during those years, so we try to make the judging in that category as fair and appropriate as possible. So we have one story in our K2 Spotlight category this year. Who is our first young reader that we get to hear from tonight, Joe?
And that is Fiona Stacy from Fairfield Elementary School with her story, The Flying Cats.
Yay!
So this is the part where you just, I'll hold the story for a sec. You stand here feeling awkward and embarrassed and smile so the big people can take the photos to keep forever.
Awesome.
Good job. And then
Your people are welcome to come right here and take photos also.
Okay.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah, all right. I think Joe might have some stuff to say. We're going to get this microphone just the right height for you. Let's see. Yeah. That looks pretty good. Okay. Joe, did you have some things to say about this
Oh, so
story?
sorry.
Yeah.
I apparently can't be trusted to do.
Anything. I came up with this. I wanted to let Phosphor in instead of making her wait forever. This is a completely delightful story. Fiona, sorry for making you wait. Daryl and I loved the story. We loved all the creatures coming together to ensure the safety of the ultra-rare diamond crystal. The story has everything. It's got cats with wings, a pug doing karate, and a magical bunny.
What? Yay! Okay. All right. Fiona, are you ready to read us a little bit of your story? Awesome. Okay, go for it.
The flying cats. Fiona and her mom, dad, and brother were taking a walk when they saw cats with wings. The cats with wings are flying in the sky. The cats with wings are looking for for an ultra-rare diamond crystal. A tiny dog wanted the ultra-rare diamond crystal so much he wanted it all to himself. He was selfish and wanted to steal the crystal's magic. The cat saw the tiny dog trying to steal the ultra-rare diamond crystal. A superhero pug helps the cats. He blocks the castle to stop the tiny dogs. The pug does karate moves on the tiny dog. Then a whole squad of tiny dogs showed up behind the pug. Then the pug uses his multiply abilities, which confuses the tiny dogs. All the pugs distract the tiny dogs so the cats can escape the real tiny dog and save the ultra-rare diamond crystal. Inside the castle, on the way to get the crystal, the cats met a bunny named Bun Bun. They let Bun Bun help because Bun Bun says she likes to help. Bun Bun and the 3 flying cats join their magic to find the ultra-rare diamond crystal. Together they get the ultra-rare diamond crystal. It restores the cat's magic. Once the cat's magic is restored, they get all the villains in the world. The whole world becomes better. Fiona and her mom, dad, and brother were amazed by the flying cats, and every time they saw the flying cats, they'd like to say hello.
And Audrey's gonna help you sign that book and then give you some goodies. Yay! Ah, what an epic beginning! We are off! Neat. Okay, so moving into grades 3 to 5 in the elementary school category, who is our honorable mention story, Joe?
Okay, I'm going to stay on task the rest of the time. Our honorable mention is Julia Thompson Mueller for her story, The House That Watched.
Ooh, all right. Julia, come on up.
So one of the things I really enjoyed about the story were Claire and Andrea's pluck and determination despite their fear. Some of the things our judges said that they loved so much in the story are its creative title that invited them in, the descriptive details, the vocabulary and sentence structure, and the clue that was laid in the beginning that held the secret to their escape.
Ooh, okay. All right, friend, come on over here. Let's get this set up to an appropriate height for you.
Okay, I'm just reading an excerpt from this. Okay, it's ready. The witch rubbed her hands together excitedly. Wait, Claire spoke up. Where are you from? The witch looked hesitant to tell them this information. I am from the past. You might have been surprised to hear this information, but after all that had happened, Claire and Andrea weren't too shocked. From the past, Andrea asked, so that means that if you went back to your time, you would live through all this again? The witch shook her head. Not necessarily. Also, to us, you aren't from the present. You are the future. But since you two consider yourselves the present, then we would be the past for you. Andrea and Claire took a few seconds to process that. That's weird, Claire finally said. Anyways, can we leave now? Andrea was getting impatient as the seconds ticked on. She had no idea how long they had been in that house and was eager to leave. Yes, the witch laughed a little as she scooped some of the potion out with a rock carved into a dip, like a spoon. She dropped the liquid onto the ground and then another drop next to it. Okay, she looked very serious. If you step onto this drop on the left, it will take you back to your town. Mine will take me back in time. Before they left, Andrea noticed a little pearl on the ground, from her necklace. She scooped it up and slipped it into her pocket, safely tucked away. Thank you so much for your help, Claire told the witch. No, thank you too. The witch took each of their hands in hers, and when she removed them, there was a blue spiral mark imprinted on their skin. Andrea just then realized that the witch had one on her hand too. They exchanged their partings, then Andrea and Claire grasped each other's hands. They stepped through the liquid and landed in the grass outside the house. Epilogue. They never did remember any of it, and it seemed that the time in their lives had gone blank, like a gap in their memories. The only mysterious things they found were the marks on their hands and the pearl in Andrea's pocket. Even the picture of the woman with long black hair and long fingers seemed familiar, but Andrea can never quite place it. The end.
Oh, so much intrigue already. Okay, moving into third place in the elementary school category. Who do we get to applaud next?
So third place actually goes to two authors, co-authors, that wrote the story together. We have Hazel Rowan and Austin Mooney, both from Midline Montessori, with The Missing Pipsqueak. I believe Hazel. This was such a funny, fun, clever, rambunctious mad dash of a story. A few things our judges said: good use of humor and details, fantastic original characters, great world building, very fun to read, and very well written with great language, pacing, and revelation.
Nice. Hazel, let me help adjust this mic just a little bit more for you. Awesome dress. Okay.
When the police arrived, there was only one police. He was a guinea pig named Agent Squeakerton. Squeakerton started by asking some questions. Where was he last seen? What was he wearing? What did he look like? Did he have anything valuable on him? He was last seen under the snack area, under the table around the snack area. He was wearing a purple shirt and some jeans with a red collar and leash. He has a red mohawk. The only thing anyone would want to steal is the golden necklace he wears with a tracker in it. But we took it out because we thought he didn't need the tracker anymore, answered the mighty carrot. They went over to the snack table. Agent Squeakerton, the police, pulled out a magnifying glass and some powder. He poured the powder under the table. The mighty carrot and Dust Bunny knew he was looking for paw prints or footprints of the creature who might have taken Pipsqueak or Pipsqueak's fingerprints. But there was nothing. There weren't paw prints or Pipsqueak's fingerprints. Are you sure he was here? Asked Agent Squeakerton. Yes, I'm absolutely positive, said the mighty carrot. Next, Agent Squeakerton poured the powder on the table. The food had been taken off, but all they could see was the place where some guinea pig food had covered up something. The bunnies looked at the guinea pig food and then at Agent Squeakerton, the guinea pig. That's odd. There weren't any guinea pigs at the party tonight, whispered the mighty carrot. You're right, there weren't, whispered Dust Bunny, the magnificent back. They both looked at Agent Squeakerton again. You know what I think? said Agent Squeakerton. What? Asked Dust Bunny the Magnificent. I think that Pipsqueak ran away and that he'll come back a bit later and you shouldn't worry. I think he's gone mad, whispered the mighty carrot to Dust Bunny the Magnificent. Okay, we'll go home and read a book or something, said Dust Bunny the Magnificent. What are you doing? Whispered the mighty carrot. We're not going to just give up. Just go with it. We can look for Pipsqueak after he's left. Clearly this police is no help to us, and he seems very suspicious about the crime. Yeah, we'll go home now, and we won't worry about it at all, agreed the mighty carrot. Agent Squeakerton left.
Okay. Woo, I think we should just update our titles like that. I just want to be Jorah the Mighty. We can drop all other titles. Okay. Second place in the grades 3 to 5 elementary school category goes to...
That goes to Emily Naylor with her story All Mixed Up.
All right.
We'll get it.
Emily.
You gotta stand there awkwardly. And and have your photo taken as I tell you nice things. This story managed to pull off multiple points of view, which is difficult for adults. Our judges' comments include great use of metaphors, helped me as a reader connect to the characters and get a deeper understanding of their emotions and motivations, a complex and thought-out storyline, very descriptive use of words that paint a clear picture in the reader's mind. I can practically see that whole morning scene, very relatable. And I love moving through the day from each of these characters' point of view. Characters are really brought to life through such wonderful detail. Congratulations.
Do you want to read it? You want me to read it?
You seem prepared.
Sure. You don't have to stand here awkwardly while I read your story.
I'll stay here. It's
Okay, if you want to, you're totally what you should bask in the adoration. All right. Autumn, time for school, Mom booms as she switches on the lights. I shove my face into my pillow. 10 more minutes, Mom, as my pet dog, Floofy, licks my face. That makes me open my eyes. No, honey, now's the time. Fine, I groan. I shot out of bed once I heard my 4-year-old brother Archie playing with my cookbooks. I quickly pull him away from my desk. Sissy, no, he yelps. I go to the bathroom mirror to check on my disgusting fat pimples. They look like giant mountains, or at least ugly, fat, bumpy ones. Archie waddles in with poor Floofy being carried much wrongly. Buddy, don't hold him like that, I say in an annoyed tone. I've always been embarrassed by Floofy's name because Archie named him the second he could talk. I comb my hair while humming songs from my mom's Christmas playlist, even though it's still September. Autumn, what hairstyle do you want today? Asks Mom. How about 2 braids? Got it, says Mom. After she's done with my hair, I go to choose what to wear today. I end up with white sweatpants and Nikes, my new pink and white ones, a cool striped yellow and white sweater, and 2 bracelets on my wrist. I devour a toaster waffle, some strawberries, and take a to-go cheese stick, pack my backpack, and hurry off with my mom. On the drive there, I get just a little nervous. Probably first day of middle school jitters.
So many awesome names. That's one of my favorite parts about all these stories is all the creative character names, all the characters you get to meet in this anthology. Cool. Okay, fantastic. So this is our last category in elementary. Who do we get to applaud for our first place young writer?
Oh. Where is it? I don't see it. Because it would be.
Did we somehow...
Uh-oh. I'm sure we have a certificate. Oh, here it is. It's just,
Out of order.
yeah, because this is middle school. Yes, okay.
Great.
Okay. Everything's fine. Moment of
There-
panic over.
Yeah, it's because they're about to, maybe they're gonna move on. Middle school and elementary, they're just,
I guess.
Yeah,
Or they-
whatever, it's summer. Okay, here we go! First place in the elementary school category goes to...
First place goes to Emma Jewell for Through My Eyes.
Whoop-hoo!
Okay, there's your certificate, so you can pose. I'll hold this while everybody takes your photo.
And I'll say nice things. This is a moving, well-written story showing the power of friendship and the courage to act even when you're afraid. Our judges said, I read all the parts like I was seeing a movie. Beautifully written, lovely point of view. I like how the story sets the tone from the beginning passage. Such wonderful details drawn to help move the story along, but also create a lot of depth. Nice metaphor, our family as a ship. Great use of anecdotes to help the reader appreciate the main character. Congratulations, Anna.
How does that microphone feel like? Good? Okay. I love your dress. Will you introduce me to your tailor?
You have bread, my little sister yells as I show her my full basket. I have bread, I correct her. Yes, you do, my sister says. I laugh. She does not understand what I'm trying to teach her. Penny, I need your help, my mother calls. Hang on one sec, Penny replies. You learned that saying from Father. She gets a sad, wondering look in her eye. Will he be home soon? Of course, I tell her. I tell her this to stop her from crying. Penny, my mom yells. Hang on, Penny yells back and starts crying into my lap. Our family is a ship. A storm is coming, and we're all wondering who will go overboard first. I draw the image in my mind. I imagine myself swimming to shore and saving Father. He climbs aboard our ship, and we sail for home. Melody, get your sister over here. As I walk a still sniffling Penny over, I finish the image. Father has his arms around me, and Ma is yelling at Penny for not jumping in to help. In the image I draw, I save the day. In the image I draw, I am the hero. Mel, my mother says, her voice calm and angry like waves. Stop daydreaming and go clean your room. I nod and walk away, leaving Penny with the mama storm. When I enter my room, I grab paper and pen. I push my sister's stuffed turtle, Timmy, out of the way and flop onto my small, messy bed with my mom's old blanket that the cat threw up on, then begin to draw. I draw waves, pointed like claws, scraping the sides of a wooden rowboat. I try to trace my mother's anxious face, but I get the eyes wrong. I try again, curving lines that kiss in the corners, like the title of a book we read in school. No, not right. I try a third, half-heartedly. The eyes look disappointed at my failure. Arg! I throw my book on the ground. Mel, are you cleaning? My mom says in a tone that reads suspicious. Yes, I say without thinking. As I pick up my paper and pen, I hear Penny exclaim, Mama, I have a bubble beard. Clearly, the mama storm made Penny do dishes.
Wonderful. Ah, fantastic. I always like to take a minute to think too, just in like gratitude and also in pride and honor of all the folks who wrote stories that are not in the anthology tonight. We talked earlier about how many words went into this contest and how many stories were written overall. And, we're currently placing these things in a certain way, but I just always think it's really important to acknowledge that it's wonderful to be published, but it's also so important just to do the writing. Like, the most important thing isn't about which place you get. It's not even about if you win the contest. It's about, did you do the process? And so I'm just, as we celebrate all our young writers who are in the room tonight, just want to also celebrate all the young writers who participated in this contest who aren't in the room tonight. That being said, we get to move into our next category. Yeah, ready to go back to middle school or forward to middle school, whatever the case might be? Let's go! All right, honorable mention in the middle school category.
About, like, what? I write all these
Oh,
nice little
you
things
do.
for each category, and you totally skip
I'm
the elementary.
sorry. Hold on. Let's back up for a minute. Okay. There's some nice things that I should have read to you about the K2 Spotlight. The K2 Spotlight is for our youngest writers, obviously. It doesn't go through the judging process, but instead is a curated collection of stories. And then in the elementary category, we had 24 entries. This is probably, I read it and then percolated it and then got excited to think about all the other stories, but I failed to read the directions from my captain. Okay, so there were 24 entries in the category that we just heard from. And one of our previous K2 Spotlight authors was back this year in the elementary school category. So good job continuing forward. But with that exception, all our other elementary school winners were first-time winners this year. So that was really exciting. Thank you for participating for the first time. Neat. Okay. So now I'm going to move forward into middle school, and I am going to use yours because it's better organized. Okay, here we go. Always a favorite category with the judges. This year's stories did not disappoint. Middle school writers exist in that in-between state between youth and adolescence, and their stories reveal so much about what's going on inside of them, and still inside of a lot of us a lot of the time, probably.
Yeah.
No one's awkward here. We received a wonderful showing of 36 stories in this category of middle schoolers this year. It's the one with the most stories out of all the categories. And only one of our finalists this year entered Fiction Fantastic V4, so they're all first-time winners. We have 2 honorable mentions in the middle school category this year. There we go. So in no particular order, our first honorable mention goes to...
Our first I can speak words. Our first honorable mention goes to somebody who entered in 2023, but did not place as a finalist that year, but has this year, and that is Edmund Titus for his story Rose and the Fairy.
You stand here awkwardly while I say nice things about you. Yeah.
This is a charming story of a brave girl, Rose, who has a mean brother who is interestingly also named Titus, though bears no resemblance whatsoever to our author. Some comments from our judges are that my favorite line was, "Now Rose was not very brave, but the experience filled her with determination. I could picture Rose's situation perfectly. Great job." The part about goats was hilariously relatable. I don't know. That's what the judge wrote. Yeah, I don't remember any goats. I don't know. There were many funny moments in the story. Loved the story. Very creative with a good moral. Really engaging. Creative and layered.
So much dancing. I got you, friend. I got you.
Coming
on up to you. Yes, me too.
Okay, I also want to say that I also have a ton of hats in a bag.
Oh, I knew we were friends. Okay. There you go.
This is from the middle of the story, so I will not expect you to understand anything, but... Okay. Roy suddenly understood. It all made sense to him now. He had also figured out what you have known from the start. He was in a fairy tale. "That little brat," he said. "That wasn't any old Dot. It was a fairy that I was chasing this whole time. And if those two think they're gonna carry out their little scheme, they've got another thing coming. I'll tell the dragon. That'll put a stop to all this." He quickly found out that this is easier said than done. He couldn't jump that far, and if he tried, he'd fall into the river. He tried to use a tree branch to catapult. After his concussion healed, he tried making a bridge out of twigs. The only reason he didn't fall in was because a deer tried to walk on it. He tried to use some stronger branches. This time he made it across us, but the bridge broke as soon as he got up. He didn't care, though. He began stomping on the bush as hard as he could. It was hard work. Finally, the bush was reduced to a pile of leaves and a rock. "You won't destroy it that way," said a voice behind him. Roy wheeled around to see the dragon behind him. It was entirely black, but only about 2 feet long. "You just destroyed the entrance. The rest of it is much harder to break. Believe me, if I could have destroyed it, I would have done it by now. I hate anything cute or pretty or small." "You're not exactly a giant yourself," muttered Roy. "Though I did hear their plan to beat you up." So Roy told the dragon everything. He told them about following the dot and how Rose was going to get enlarged back to her normal size and knock out the dragon. "That is interesting," said the dragon. "I shall take you with me. I cannot fight a human very well unless I had one to assist me, like you." "Okay," said Roy, to ruin anyone's day. "One more thing," he added. "Can you breathe fire?" The dragon opened its mouth and a tiny purple flame laid out. It landed on Roy's hand and he jumped up and paid. "Ouch!" he yelled. "Yes," said the dragon. "Now hold on." And with that, the dragon took Roy's hand and they were off.
Wonderful. We are off in the middle school category. Who is our other honorable mention?
Our second honorable mention goes to Lily Meyerhofer for A Splash of Shadows in a Field of Light.
Ooh, what a great
Lily.
title. Lily.
Or you do. I enjoyed the mystery and the moodiness of this story. It kept me reading until the end. Our judges said that the contrast between the brightness of the field and the shadow of the forest were very good. The story is written in a way that the reader can see their own life reflected in it. This makes the story very engaging. Wonderful. Keep building worlds.
Great. Okay. Wonderful. What a.
Laura will read it in
Oh,
her
I'm so
melodic voice.
excited. Thank you. Thanks, Lily. Okay. The grass swayed like an ocean current. The dandelions were in full bloom. The sun's rays warmed my back. Another warm, sunny, perfect day. The field was my paradise. The flowers came in so many colors, beautiful and free. The cool waters of the lake were a gift. The clouds were always pure, white, and fluffy. It was perfect, everything I wanted. Until one day, it started small, a tiny patch of darkness in a part of the field. As I kept looking, I saw more shadows, though. They formed a trail, and even though my gut told me not to, I followed. What I found was shocking. A forested land of shadows sharing a border with my field. As I got closer, I could feel the sorrow in the air. At the edge of the forest, I reached toward the shadows, just my fingertips. Coldness shocked me, and I lurched back, trembling. I inspected my hand. Shadows crawled up my palm. I jumped, waving my hand to shake them off. I watched as they made their way back into the large forest of darkness. As I began to inch away, ready to forget all that happened, I saw it. A small, shadowy figure watched from behind a tree. It had glowing white eyes and looked to be about my size, but before I could get a closer look, it ducked behind a tree. I walked away, unwilling to breach the cold shadows, thinking about what I saw. Later, I laid in my field, staring at my hand. My fingertips were still cold, but the effect had mostly worn off. For days, I just tried not to think about the shadowy forest, but I wanted to go back. I needed to see who lived in that dark, dreadful woodland, and so I returned. The forest seemed to have grown bigger and darker. I sat at the edge, making sure not to touch the expanding shadows. I realized my perfect field was being taken from me, and I had to find a way to stop it. So I waited all day for the creature I saw earlier. At midnight, its head poked out from behind a tree deep within the woods, its glowing eyes illuminating the dark. I ducked behind a shrub and watched as it came closer to the bounds until it stepped out of its forest onto my field.
Ooh.
Ooh, all the cliffhangers. Beautiful. That was fun. Okay, so moving into third place in the middle school category. Let's give it up for
Coeur de Clocher by David Sammons.
Ooh.
I really enjoyed the experience of untangling the mystery of the story along with the protagonist. Some of our judges' comments are great use of sensory details, well structured and written, and great energy. I could see this being made into a short film, an original and beautifully told story. Congratulations, David. You gonna read to us?
Yay.
Oh, okay.
Eleanor arrived in vehicle shape in the late afternoon, when the light turned dull as though the sky itself had been brushed thin. The town slowly revealed itself as the train descended the hill, stone buildings rising in small clusters around thin streets. At first glance, it looked like any other European town would, quiet and orderly, with its age worn out. Only when the road curved inward did she see the clock tower. The clock tower stood in the town center, much taller than any of its surrounding roofs, its stone darkened with centuries of rain and smoke. The clock face caught the light in a way that almost felt unnatural, not reflective but luminous, as if the glass held something lit from behind. She studied it longer than she meant to, unsettled not by its appearance, but by how easily the town seemed to organize itself around it.
Awesome. So many good. You're handing out goodies. Okay.
Yeah, and multiple hats.
So many hats, as is our way.
Right, here's your
Indeed. Okay. So, moving into the middle of the middle school category.
Come back over here.
Our second place winner is
Cora Fortenbach with Sinking. I can say nice things about you. Hold this while I say nice things. So every time I read the story, I want to hug the protagonist and let them know it's going to be okay. It's a really moving story that offers a rare depth of understanding of grief, shame, and loneliness. Our judges said you have a great and devastating use of metaphor and imagery. Great emotional depth to the story, exceptional. A very mature, extremely well-crafted story.
Ooh. Nice. Make sure this feels good to you. I think I might need to be just a little bit taller. Yeah.
I know lockers shouldn't be this important, but somehow to me it is. I'll hold my things without yelling or calling me dramatic. It's something small, but something I can still rely on. It's the only thing that stays where I left it, opens when I ask it to, even though the inside smells like gym socks and old papers. I don't remember when I stopped believing that houses could be warm. Maybe it was when I was 8, standing outside, waiting at the door with my ear pressed up against the rough wood with peeling paint, listening. I never wanted him in the first place. My mom's voice broke midway through. My heart dropped. Little did I know it would never stop deepening. It would just keep on falling. Then came the sound of breaking plates. Nothing new. Since then, I've realized my place in this world. I move like I'm apologizing to the air just for existing, like a mouse waiting for the cat to inevitably wake up. I know things that most kids will never understand. How skin goes silent right before it bruises, or how rage sounds through drywall. Adults like to say kids are resilient when they don't want to face the truth. They say kids bounce back, but they never say how many pieces you bounce back in. Resilience isn't the same as unbroken. That night, I was sitting in the shower thinking about what Miss Erin said. Is everything okay at home? The words circled around my head, kind of like the water at how it circled the drain. I just wanted to yell, top of my lungs, in that stupid question to Miss Erin, no, nothing's okay. I just want to be done. That word, done, what did it mean? Done with life? I'm 12. What does that mean for a 12-year-old? I felt a tear run down my face. Shame burned behind my eyes. Shame for crying. Shame for feeling anything at all. That morning, in third period, Mr. K told us to write a short paragraph about a thought we never told anyone. The words started flowing before Mr. K was done talking. As soon as my pencil touched that paper, I was flying. Sometimes all I want to do is sink. Not into my bed, but just sink. It's not being done, but being free from wanting to be done. When you sink into a place of peace. I don't get to sink into that place. Not until I can find out who I am. Not until I'm allowed to feel, to cry, to smile, to live a life. Until I can be me, I cannot sink. The next day, Mr. K gave back the papers. I got an A- on mine. Never understood why they were minuses along with pluses. It never looked right to me. Don't know why. He didn't even look at me when he gave the paper, which in some ways I was glad about, but in others a little mad I didn't get a good job, Eli. At the end of the year, Mr. K told us to write about our thoughts and if they'd changed at all. I wrote softly this time, making sure every word, every letter was taken care of. I'm now sinking. I have not made it to peace just yet, but I'm done wanting to be done. I found myself, and all I needed was someone to see who I can be. I might not fully be free, but I am me. I got an A+.
Fantastic. The juggle. Yeah, I am particularly excited to read those. Like many of you, I have not yet gotten to read these stories, so it's a very, it is a night full of teasers, truly. Some really nice poetics going on in there. Okay, cool. First place winner in the middle school category goes to
Solid Crabtree for Red Brick House. This was a delightful, touching story that has great dialogue, characters, and humor. I loved Fender and Lavender the mice, and I was moved by its emotional depth. It had a great arc, had everything you need in a short story. One of my favorite lines was, "There comes a time in the life of any child, human or otherwise, when they realize they are not the only people that matter." Our judges said, great use of sensory details, very creative, well-structured story. Congrats.
I'll hold this to you.
Step up to that mic. A little tall, but just a tiny bit shorter for you. There you go.
The house smelled of candied hazelnuts, and Christmas carols played from a gramophone in the living room. Papa was in the kitchen making waffles when Liza and Beth entered. "Get a good workout?" Papa asked Liza, sliding her a cup of coffee across the table. "Yes, thank you for the coffee. It's delicious." "You are very welcome," said Papa, ruffling Liza's short hair. "What about you, Beth? Get a good sleep?" Beth accepted a cup of coffee drowsily. "In France, Liza has to jog up 4 flights of stairs to wake me up. And I still make it to class on time," Liza grinned. Drawn by the delicious smell of waffles, the late sleepers arrived. Mama immediately gestured for a cup of coffee, looking as though she had hardly slept. But 9-year-old Oliver looked quite refreshed. He appeared to have brought his entire collection of stuffies downstairs with him. Breakfast was served, and everyone tucked into the waffles and orange juice set out by Papa, and that is how Christmas began in the house of red brick. Voices drifted to Fender's ears through the open kitchen door. Fender was of average height for a mouse, which was good because Fender was a mouse. He had fairly large ears and a long whipping tail. Fender spent a lot of time around the family, and he liked to perform small jobs for them. At the moment, he was pushing a fallen ornament across the floor with the help of Lavender, his best friend and sister. Lavender was rat-like in appearance, with slick black fur and gentle brown eyes. Having reached the trunk of the Christmas tree, they both paused to rest. "I wish Liza and Beth weren't leaving day after tomorrow," said Lavender. Fender wholeheartedly agreed. Liza and Beth, twins, were home visiting for Christmas before returning to their college in France. "It's never the same here without them," said Fender forlornly. "I think that's far enough," said Lavender decisively. "What?" Fender was incredulous. "We have to get it back to its branch." "It was really high up, though," said Lavender uncertainly. Fender sighed. "It will be safer than going back the way we came," he pointed out. "The branches will hide us from view." Lavender bit her lip, torn between a fear of humans and a fear of heights. At last, fear of humans won. She tied the ornament to the ribbon on Fender's tail. All of Fender's 22 siblings wore a ribbon on the ends of their tails, so that their mother could tell them apart. Fender's ribbon was gold, and Lavender's, of course, was lavender. With the ornament secured to his tail, Fender leapt into the tree with Lavender right behind him. They leapt from branch to branch, and soon the pace became methodical. Lavender's tail began to droop, and her muscles began to ache from weariness. Finally, Fender called a halt. They both collapsed on a sturdy limb.
All right, congratulations again to everyone in the middle school category. Whew, it is time to move forward. excited. We're going to high school. Out of our
That's why I still have it.
Right. Me too, actually, quite literally. I get to work in some of our high schools. So, of the 89 entries that we received in the contest this year, 27 of them were in the high school category. Not the highest number of entries, that was middle school, but certainly the most amount of words. High schoolers have a lot to say. Beautiful. The school with the most entries this year in this category is Elmira High School, where we offer a completely separate Writers in the Schools residency that I just happened to complete. I myself, I'm a poet, which is part of why I'm so impressed by everyone who writes fiction, because I don't. I think it's super hard, and it's my favorite thing to consume. So we did just recently play poetry at Elmira. We love being out there. And one of our winners is from Elmira High School this year. Yay. Okay. So let's start with honorable mention. Who do we get to clap big for first?
The honorable mention in the high school category goes to that Elmira High School student, Kendall Moeller, with the story Myself Truly.
Let me say nice things about you now. Will you stand there awkwardly?
Sorry. I love the tension in the story, both the protagonist's internal struggle and also that between the characters. Our judges had a lot to say about the story. This is the short version. Such elegant writing, very evocative. Every description and choice of phrasing seems so intentional and apt. The ending is sublime, unfolding into profound allegory. Did I get it right? I got it right. I'm one of those people that I learned to pronounce most words by reading them, so, it's what my brain decided. I practiced earlier. Narrator for this story is vividly characterized, and her inner monologue is shown in complexity, despite not having a lot of time for dialogue. The small details really help to shape Abigail and her mother into very real characters. A few snippets of the mother's dialogue, and even the quietness with which Abigail shut the bedroom door, for example, were so telling. Congrats.
First of all, I would like to say thank you to my dad and my stepmom. They were there the entire time while I was writing this, and you guys kept me motivated. And I don't want to cry up here, so I'm going to stop talking and start reading. But thank you.
Wait, may I interrupt?
Absolutely, yes.
I want you to have to bend over. Awesome. What were you doing? Okay. Have we met? Maybe. Were you in Mr. Hunt's class? Yes. Nice. Okay.
We've met before. You have suffered much. You need not ache any longer. The being seemed to move closer to her, the light emanating from it slowly being recast off of the bed's surface as it perched before Abigail. Every shift inside of it felt like a look straight into the world beyond her own, one where she was meant to be. The beams of the presence felt blissfully warm, like the first sunshine after the dark months of late fall and winter, or the comforting embrace of a fireplace. This feels nice. Why does this feel so nice? She asked herself hazily, with every muscle in her body going loose as warmth encompassed her. Is this what heaven feels like? Her hands were shapeless when she looked down at them, blissfully nothing. When she glanced at her mirror, she saw nothing she could decipher as her old familiar form. Instead, her shape was ever shifting like the being's, loose and wonderful like it was shaped to her very soul. She recognized her body no longer. It terrified her. It calmed her. She felt human. A sick feeling began to eat at her stomach, chasing out any shreds of bliss and instead leaving her with a hollow sort of shame, much like the kind she had felt in church. What had she done? What was she without the shape she had labored to maintain? Without the delicate femininity of her bones and skin, what was she? What have I done? Abigail murmured, trembling as she wrapped her arms around her body, sure that it would shatter apart were she to stop. She had put so much work into forming her shape to the preferences of others. What would they see when they looked at her now? If they regarded her with disgust, what would she do? All her life was spent making herself into a pretty, inoffensive thing others could disregard, only to be reduced to a monster all for a few moments of her own joy. The being seemed to sigh, a long metallic sound that made the ground feel as if it were swallowing two of them whole. I have revealed the you buried within the shell of Abigail, the being replied, patient in its cadence and all-encompassing in its passion. Abigail shook her head back and forth violently, so lost in her fear that she risked rendering herself concussed. My mother, your mother could never hope to change how you truly are, it declared, the words undeniably final. Do not seek validation in a place you will never find it. In that moment, a hand began to extend from the shapeless shroud of light. The motion seemed to drag on forever, the palm of a painfully human hand facing upwards as the fingers uncurled into an inviting gesture that urged Abigail to accept it. It was the first time that the being had taken a definitive shape, and it was nothing short of remarkable. The digits of the hand were somehow familiar, each luminous vein and freckle intimate in a way just as perplexing as it was comforting to the cowering girl. I don't understand, Abigail trembled, shrinking away from the divine hand offered her and instead covering her flushed face. There was silence for a moment before the hand slowly caressed her flushed cheek, the brush of knuckles along her cheekbone like a cooling balm as the being pulled the frightened girl's hands from her face. She gasped around the lump in her throat. Never before had she thought it possible to touch heaven, yet here it was, cradling her in its palm.
Lovely. Okay, moving into it's our last 3 award winners. In 3rd place in the high school category, let's hear it for
Aria Metz Hogan for The Girl Who Learned the Names of Light.
Ooh.
Aria
Okay.
So I will read an excerpt from her story. And I want to say, like, all of you lovely young writers getting up here and reading, I want to acknowledge that it is terrifying. I'm not even reading my own story, I'm reading other people's stories. And it's still, oh, people are looking at me. It is, you know, and I don't have Jorah's poetness, so you just get me. Everyone in Asheville believed the fog was permanent. It rolled in every morning without apology, swallowing rooftops and voices alike. By noon it thinned, by evening it returned, and no one remembered a time before it. People learned to live with outlines instead of clarity, shapes instead of certainty. They built their lives around what they could see 5 steps ahead, and never asked about the rest. Elia was the only one who counted the lamps. She started when she was small, tracing the streets with careful steps, memorizing which lights flickered and which burned steady. She noticed patterns others ignored, how the 3rd lamp on Briar Road always warmed before it glowed, how the one near the river hummed like it was thinking, while the rest of the town rushed through the fog with their heads down. Elia looked up. Her mother said it was useless. You'll hurt yourself staring at what isn't there, she warned. Better to keep moving. So Elia learned to move, but she never stopped looking. At school, the teachers spoke in straight lines, expecting straight answers. Elia's thoughts curved. They wandered. Sometimes they ran ahead of her mouth and left her silent. Other times they crowded so tightly she couldn't choose just one. The fog crept into classrooms, settling heavy on her shoulders. People mistook her quiet for disinterest, her questions for defiance. You think too much, they said. But Elia knew thinking was the only way she stayed afloat. One evening, while walking home, she noticed something wrong with lamp 17. It didn't hum. It didn't warm. It stood dark and hollow, like a sentence cut off mid-thought. People stepped around it without comment, adjusting their paths like water around stone. Elia stopped. She reached out, not to fix it, but to understand it. Her fingers brushed the glass, and for a moment, the fog pulled back, just enough for her to see the street as it really was. Cracked pavement, crooked houses, a town built on endurance rather than care. The lamp didn't turn on, but something else did. I forgot to read the lovely thing since we are recording this, and perhaps Aria can watch it later on. So I love the setting and descriptions in the story. They really set up this moody, mysterious atmosphere. Our judges said it's a compelling story. I love the descriptions of the setting. The streetlights was such an interesting concept, and I really liked that the author tied them into the practice of listening to the past and not shying away from difficult realities. A strong, original concept in writing. I really like this idea and the story's vibe. What a beautiful story that lifts up the power of one, the power of patience and witnessing. It feels like a lovely parable, very well written. Congrats to Aria.
Gorgeous lines in there. Ooh. Okay, so we have arrived at our penultimate award winner. I always try to work that word in whenever possible in the literary context, because penultimate, great place to be. Come on. I know.
It's true.
I know. We should start an
It is
ultimate
true.
pen contest. Okay, here we go. In second place in the high school
Our
category.
second place winner entered Fiction Fantastic one other time, but I could find, according to our records, in 2019, when this person was in elementary school. And that is Isaac Chu with the story Autopilot. Do you even remember?
I don't remember.
I can look it up. I can tell you what story it was. We probably even have it somewhere. You hold this, have your photo taken while I say nice things. I love so much about the story. I love the sci-fi spec fiction aspects of the story, moving around in time through the mysterious powers of the radio, and I especially love the ending. Our judges said, awesome play with temporality and memory, very unusual philosophical take on what it means to be human, our choices, how easy it is to get caught up in routine, get stuck in the consequences. Great concept for a story. Wonderfully captures the mundanity of life, as well as nostalgia, regret, and how quickly it goes in this compressed little box of a story. A lot happens in this little story. An original story loaded with symbolism. Congrats.
Okay. It was a day like any other. I remember it clearly, like it happened recently. It did happen recently, but it also happened decades ago. I was driving to work. I worked in customer service at a regional tech company called LineGen. Everyone in the area always had products from LineGen in their homes, so there were always calls coming in. Something had broken, or they couldn't figure out how it functioned. That was my job there. They would call in, and I would tell them what to do, how to fix their problem. Then I would move on to the next call. It was simple. It was dull. An endless cycle without complexity. I don't know what happened to LineGen. I look around the room and I see nothing from them. I no longer work for them. I no longer work. I only sit. I sit and I watch the world around me. It changes, but I do not see it change. I blink and the world I knew is gone. It is replaced by something new, something different, something without LineGen. I am also replaced. I am no longer myself. I was driving to work, as I said. The road was slightly busy. The radio was playing an advertisement for Cameron Dental, the only dentist in town. At least it was, back then. I am told that it no longer exists. I am told that there are 2 dentists here now, but neither is Cameron Dental. I must have gone to one of them at some point. I do not know them, though. I only know Cameron Dental. I turned the radio knob to change the channel. I am now driving down an empty road. It is a dark night. I am happy and free, not a care in the world. I am young. I don't know how I know it, I just am. There is a world of opportunity ahead of me. I can do whatever I want, be whoever I want. I can travel out of my small town that only has 1 dentist and see the world. I can't wait to see the person I will be. I know who I will be, though. I will be driving down a slightly busy road to my job at LineGen. I will not leave my small town. There will still be time, though. I will still be young, just less. I still can now, because I am young. I haven't started working at LineGen yet. I don't have to. I stop the car and try to leave it. Leave the car so I can stay here.
many flavors as well.
Yeah.
Flavors of trailers. Okay, here we go. Last young writer of the night that we get to celebrate in first place for the high school category.
Sadly, this author cannot be here with us this evening. I know, because this is the 4th time that they've been a finalist in Fiction Fantastic, and I bet they're graduating high school this year. But that winner is Keiko Weibel for her story In Living Memory, which Darylyn is going to come up and read once I find it in the book, and I'm going to say
It's the last one.
it is the last one. Oh, there we go. I did mark it. All right, so the nice things that I and the judges said. This is a fantastic story. The concept, the writing, my notes say the emotional depth, and the ending, because I decided that would be good to try to pronounce. Judges said vivid writing, so beautiful, and managed to portray love that transcends the boundaries of time, gender, and memory. I love that the story is marked by centuries. It really gives shape to the weight of what it must feel like to be immortal. I enjoy the apolitical yet gender-fluid notion of the spirit of love coming in many forms. Unexpected ending. A lovely story about a love that transcends time and space. And you gave us just enough details to ground your characters and help your reader develop imagery without being too heavy-handed. This was really an enjoyable read.
All right. I'm just bringing it up. I am sad that Keiko isn't here to read this, but it's also really amazing to have watched this young writer develop through the years. And she's had a really unique and engaging voice from the beginning, but just to watch that develop has been wonderful. And I would like to say you all have amazing voices in these stories, so I hope we get to continue to see stories from you, because it's just such a delight to watch you develop through the years and to see your ideas mature and grow. So, without further ado, In Living Memory, there have always been gods. For as long as there have been stars and planets, there have always been beings guiding them. And sometimes the gods place their blessings or their curses on certain objects or people. My family had both, a blessing and a curse passed from mother to daughter. We were caught in a feud so old, the reason behind it was long forgotten. Our curse was to die at 20, struck down by something in our sleep. Our blessing was immortality. From a young age, we were told that if we swore to remain loyal to our patron, we could live forever. If we swore to never forget our allegiance, our funeral would be followed by resurrection, by a life that wouldn't end until we were ready. The 18th century. My mother raised me just outside a small village in Ireland. We were the last members of my family that I knew of. I assume everyone else had sort of faded away over time. They got tired of watching history repeat and prayed for death. I knew I would die like that too, so tired that all I could do would be to pray for release. I didn't know how long that would take. I didn't bother to think about it when I was young. I had a friend as a child. Her name was Anna. She had a gorgeous smile and eyes that almost looked turquoise when the light hit them just right. No one approved of our friendship except my mother, and that was only on some days. The people in the village never approved of me hanging out around Anna. I was the child of the strange unmarried woman, after all. Anna was told to stay away from me, but by the time we fully understood why, she was already so close to me and my mother that she wouldn't leave. She found us fascinating, me especially, not just because of the curse. She thought I was funny and kind. She found it intriguing that I knew how to make myself look like a boy, even after puberty hit. "How is it that you seem so comfortable as a boy?" she asked me once. "I don't know," I replied. "I know I was born female, but sometimes I prefer looking like a man." The first 19 years of my life were good. I don't remember many details, since time has a nasty habit of making things blur together the longer you are on Earth. but I remember how everything went wrong.
Whatever happens now.
What happens now? I feel like you have some things to say to us.
Oh, that's great. Wait, I just feel like you introduced me.
I'm gonna introduce you. Go,
I'm fabulous.
yes. Go stand in a corner. Okay, so we've come to the portion of the evening where I get to introduce to you our incredible associate director, the captain of our multifaceted ship, an incredible writer themselves, the person who makes 50 things happen at all times. This is Joe!
Oh, that's actually quite nice. I like that. Shouldn't get used to it.
Yes, this is the talk portion of our evening. So my talk for you, it's pretty short, don't worry. It's about stories and how stories make us better. So in this room right now, I do want to take a moment, take a look around, and notice that we have some of the best young storytellers in Lane County right here with us this evening, and also the people who love and support them. Because that combo of writers and their people, one of my favorite things. I'm not just saying that because it's my job. It is my job. It's true, and I do love my job. But it is a beautiful and lovely thing. So thank you for being here with your young writers and supporting them and helping them on their journey. There's a scholar named Dr. Radine Sims Bishop who wrote an article a little while ago about books, about stories being windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors. Books can be windows by showing you someone else's world, a life you've never lived, a place you've never been, a way of being human that's different from yours. Looking through these windows with curiosity and openness can help you understand other people and other ways of being, engendering compassion and empathy. These windows can become sliding glass doors that you as a reader can walk through or move through in your imagination to become part of, which like good books. I like that. You move through and you're into the world. And have you noticed that when the lighting kind of is just so that a window can become a mirror and you can see your reflection in it? Because stories can be like that too, reflecting aspects of your own life back to you, your experience, your family, your neighborhood, your particular kind of weird or wonderful. And when you see yourself in a story, you feel less alone, you feel seen, and you understand that you matter. As a human, I am many things. Some of those are immigrant, originally from England. It's the funny accent that comes out sometimes. I'm queer, I'm transgender. You may have noticed or guessed by me just like wandering off in the middle of things, and neurodivergent also. Growing up, I didn't find many mirrors in the books that I read that reflected me and my experience back to me. When I did find a story where someone felt the way I felt or came from something like where I came from, it really mattered to me. And so the stories that all of you are writing, they matter because we're, very different. Obviously, I'm incredibly old and British, but there are things that that resonate with me from your stories. There are aspects that I see parts of myself in those stories, despite the things that are, the obvious differences between us. Oh, maybe we're not so different inside. In reading stories, it makes us better people. So whether you read stories that are windows, sliding glass doors, or mirrors, here's what the research shows. You can tell your friends and your teachers, I said this, and be like, I learned a thing, which is that reading fiction gives you more empathy. Because when you spend time inside someone else's head, the way that a good story will take you, like even if they're a fictional character, You practice understanding them. You practice caring about someone whose life doesn't look like yours. And in the world that we have right now, that is generally asking us to pick sides and to shut each other out, stories are asking us to stay curious and helping us to connect with each other. Writing stories also makes you a better person as well. Because writing, no matter what you write, also does fabulous things for you. Expressing yourself creatively through writing stories it's shown to do amazing things. Like studies show, like it can decrease anxiety. It can increase your sense of general well-being. When you write a character that you disagree with, you have to understand them. When you write a story, when you write a character who's scared or who's lost or brave, you've got to find those places in yourself to be able to write that authentically, which helps you understand other people who are like you, who are not like you, because our characters can't all just be like ourselves. And when you write a story, you have made something that didn't exist before, out of nothing but language and imagination and, sometimes stubbornness. My mother always used to call me stubborn. And what I've realized, just in case anybody calls you stubborn, realized over the years that's actually tenacity. Stubborn, get a thesaurus. Thesaurus is a good stubbornness. It's tenacity. It's staying power. It's sticking with it. So here at Wordcrafters, we say that we believe in the power of story. It's part of a mission statement, but it's not just a tagline for us. It is the reason that we exist. We were founded 13 years ago by a best-selling author, a publishing expert, and an avid reader. And our mission is to empower writers and readers by connecting them with writing community, and craft. We're here for writers of all ages to help them grow, to give them a writing home, where they can find community and support that they need to tell their stories. And we're here for the readers as well, because we all need stories. Right? They do so much for us, whether we're reading them, writing them. And Fiction Fantastic is a huge part of that. And like Jorah said, it's not just you fantastic, wonderful, lovely finalists here this evening, who we are really, really proud and honored and delighted and all kinds of mushy things to celebrate. It's also everybody who wrote stories and sent them into the contest and who has over the years. And there's something else that I want all our young writers here to know, which is that our volunteer judges love reading your stories each year. For many of them, they tell us, they say, can I come back again next year? I'll do it again if you'll have me. I'm like, yes, of course we'll have you next year. They love it. It's the highlight of the year for them. So thank you for writing them. Programs like Fiction Fantastic can only happen because people in our community decide that they matter enough to invest in. And on that note, I would like to hand things over to our board vice president, Eric Bremen, who is going to come up and share some things close to their heart about why they believe in this work and are part of all these shenanigans.
Eric.
And yeah, just to reiterate, students, just what a beautiful, beautiful job. It was such a gift to hear it from your voice. I was one of the judges who did get to vibe in that process of reading the words, but hearing them from your voice is that much more powerful and impactful and just beautiful. So thank you for your gifts. Like Joe was saying, so I'm an author myself. I'm a poet and playwright. Much like Jorah, I am floored by fiction, by the way that detail is able to be captured in the ways that these students have done that. And where that starts is with an idea, with an inkling, with a tiny little spark that is inside the mind, right? But that spark has to be fostered. It has to have an opportunity to come out and be shared with the rest of the world. And that's exactly what Fiction Fantastic is meant to do. It's meant to create this space where we can bring these stories from our community, put them out here, put them into an anthology, celebrate the successes of these writers, and really continue to foster our future writers and future creators for the community. I think about myself when I was a young person, and I wrote in secret. I had, does anybody remember the live journal days? Okay, there's some people will. I had a secret live journal. That was where I would go and I would write my little poetry pieces, my little reflections and personal stories, and I didn't tell anyone because there wasn't a place to go be seen as a writer as a young person. Young people wrote to do their homework and submit it at the end of the day. Here, this is your writing to celebrate your creativity. And I think that there's something really powerful in that, and that's why we get these beautiful, impactful stories that even across generations we can relate to these realities that all you young people have captured for us. So thank you for that. And it's why I joined Wordcrafters as a board member as well, is because recognizing that pathway for people to be able to take it, an internal story, something that they might be hiding at home, and bringing it out into a space where they can share it with people, where it can be a part of a community dialogue. That's a gift. So I want to share a few stories from students who have participated in Fiction Fantastic in the past. Brianna Bird, whose parent Amanda is here tonight as one of our amazing volunteer judges. Brianna entered Fiction Fantastic multiple years in a row, and she graduated from high school last year after finally placing first in the high school category. And when asked what she loved most about the experience, she said, being forced to actually complete a story, which I had entirely free choice as to what I wrote about. Free choice, y'all. Students, how often does your teacher give you free choice? Yeah, I see that. It's so rare that we give this opportunity that's like run towards that idea that you have and follow it with pure enthusiasm and joy. We can't wait to hear it. This is all about that voice of the student. There was also another writer, which is, let me see if I can find it on my, there it is, Sage Hoffman Nadeau, who placed second in the high school category in 2024 and walked away with something more important than a prize. It was a conviction and a confidence. Sage had entered the contest the year before and had not been a finalist, but she tried again, working harder on her story than the first time, getting it as good as she could get before she hit the submit button. Hit the subscribe button. Sage shared, I still didn't think that I would win, but I actually liked it this time. I was proud of it. And I think that there's a lot to be said there about this process of journey, of growth, of courage, of confidence. Lord knows, as a writer, I'm still trying to find my confidence. And so young writers being given this opportunity to start building some of those muscles at an early age is so important. So what I want to say is that this is hard to do without the finances and the systems to support it. And you have seen the benefits today in the voices of our youth. You've gotten to experience at home, potentially in your process of communicating with these students. There's also so many more students who are impacted by this that we don't have the ability to hear from today, that we've gotten to acknowledge in different ways. And so this is an ask for you to contribute and support Wordcrafters and Eugene. Yeah, sorry, past hat is starting to pop in my head. It's here in the Fiction Fantastic program, as well as the program in the schools. Jorah and I both go in and work with schools and work with high school students and middle school students and bring their stories to life, their poetry to life. And that process of honoring student voice is so powerful. And so if you have it in you, if you have the capacity and the means to be able to do so, any donation is super meaningful towards the continued success of this organization and these programs that reach our students and our community. And please know that it is so, so deeply appreciated. The ways you can give is there's a QR code that is on the back of your program, I believe. In the middle of the program, not the back. You'll have to open. In the middle of your program, and then you can also drop a check and hand that off to the team on your way out. And we're also happy to be in communication with you in a way that feels good for you. Thank you all so much.
Yay! Thank you, Eric. Okay, so before our final wrap up, I know there is one more very important thing that we're gonna have to do before we leave here tonight. So I'm gonna wrap us up, but right after that, again, this is a behind the curtain moment, I'm gonna need all the young writers to come up and we're gonna get a group photo, and then everyone can have a copy of that. So don't leave this room without the group photo. But one more time, I wanna say thank you so much again to all our donors, big and small, who make this contest happen. Thank you to all the supporters, the schools, the teachers, the parents, everyone involved in supporting these young writers. I want to say thank you to Wordcrafters. I want to say thank you to our judges who are so essential. I want to say thank you to each young writer who did the generous and courageous work of bringing a story into the world. It is not a small thing. So, one more huge round of applause for everyone here tonight, all our newly published authors! Woo, 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 woo! Very good. Okay. Authors to the front. Let's get a picture of everybody together.